Ladies and gentlemen, Irene Schaefer is here. We can officially begin. Welcome. Now I hope someone will help her find a seat. We are ready to begin. We are so glad you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Southwest CTE campus and the Chamber's State of the City Luncheon. My name is Carter Fong. I'm the Executive Director at the Dickinson Area Chamber of Commerce. I would like to take this moment to recognize our remaining staff members at the Chamber. I hope they're not hiding from me. They're not. They're back there. You may recognize from a prior Chamber event our Community Connector, Yulia Kravchuk, and our Administrative Assistant, Emma Stillings. Would you two please give us a wave? And we have a first-timer to a Chamber event today. We have a new full-time marketing and communications manager. Her name is Esme Brown, and we are so grateful that she is on board. She is in her third week on the job. You may notice that our social media channels are more active and they are using more emojis. Let's thank Esme for joining the Chamber team. Also high on the list of thank yous we need to give would be to Brevera. They are, again, our presenting sponsor for this event. At this time, we invite Russ Murphy forward on behalf of Brevera to hear from our presenting sponsor.
Well, on behalf of Brevera, I welcome the other sponsors to this event. I'm kind of taken back a little bit. This building was a dream, an idea, and look where we're at now. So I look forward to hearing from the mayor and the state of the city, and I welcome you to the 2025 State of the City.
I'm glad you acknowledged that we have many other additional partners and sponsors as well. Our supporting sponsors for this event include the City of Dickinson, the Dickinson Public Schools, Consolidated, and Wynn Construction, and our luncheon sponsors are Apex Engineering Group, Baker Boy, ConocoPhillips, KLJ, and Theodore Roosevelt Regional Airport. Another reason I mention them is because many of these same partners will be at Infinity Real Estate Touch-A-Truck this Saturday. That is a free family and community event, an awesome one, and we hope to see you there. We also need to acknowledge that today's program is being recorded and will be replayed on Consolidated Channel 18 and on our YouTube channel. That might be the time or your cue to turn off your cell phone or silence it at this time. Thank you. At the Chamber, our mission is to connect business and community to help make Dickinson a great place to live and work. We hope we do that well, but sometimes it's our students who can unite us the best. Throughout today's program, we will hear from 4 student leaders on this CTE campus. First, I'd like to share one moment that I witnessed earlier this year that involved high school and college students working together to make a great atmosphere. And it gave me goosebumps, and it happened at DSU's Scott Gym. About 25 years ago, I was a spectator at Scott Gym when C.J. Schorsch hit a late corner 3 to lead the Blue Hawks to a postseason victory over the University of Mary. Raise your hand if you were also at that game. Brad Fong was there. He probably bought my ticket. Many were there. Many more were there than the city fire code should have allowed that day, but it made for an incredible atmosphere, one that maybe will never truly get topped, but this year's DSU men's basketball postseason run came close, in part because when they dimmed the lights for the starting lineups and then brought the lights back, it was the Dickinson High School pep band filling a void and having Scott Gym rocking again like it hasn't in a very long time. And they weren't just cutting out a class to do that. That was a Saturday ball game. They went above and beyond. That gave me goosebumps. When our community unites behind our students for the greater good, academics, artists, athletes, and entrepreneurs all come together, that's when our community shines brightest. And thus, we are back at the CTE campus today. We will hear city and energy sector updates, but first, I would like to welcome a culinary arts student who was involved in the planning of today's meal. She will tell us more about Skills USA and the meal today. Please welcome Naomi Leffer.
Hello, my name is Naomi Leffer, and I'm a senior here at Dickinson High School who has taken multiple classes at Southwest Area Career Technical Education Academy. For the past 2 years, I've also been an active member in the Skills USA organization. Skills USA is a student-led organization whose goal is to improve the student workplace skills in their respective trade. This includes things such as culinary, health, construction, and other areas. We learn and we take the knowledge that we learn in our classes here at Southwest CTE and apply them to our competitions at the state and national level. Through Skills USA, this generation prepares and strengthens the future workforce of America. I would like to thank Southwest CTE for allowing the opportunity of Skills USA to be available to students like me. Today we have a menu of a bar setup, and we will be starting with a pasta bar with cavatappi and penne pasta with Alfredo and marinara sauce. Then we have Italian sausage with peppers and garlic breadsticks. And finally, there is an Italian salad. This has salami, Parmesan cheese, tomatoes, carrots, banana peppers, croutons, and ranch dressing and balsamic vinaigrette. Thank you.
You'll hear from another student soon, but really what we want to do is run about a 2.5-minute infomercial here about the Southwest CTE. Andrew, take it away.
To the Southwest Area CTE Academy, where opportunity meets innovation. A partnership of 7 high schools and Dickinson State University, we provide hands-on learning in 14 career and technical education programs, preparing students for real-world success. Our mission? To deliver innovative education and workforce solutions right here at home. With a student-focused approach, we offer courses designed to ignite passion, build skills, and create pathways to thriving careers. From agricultural to cybersecurity, from welding to health sciences, our diverse programs empower students with the knowledge and experience to shape their future. Our vision is clear, meeting industry needs, maximizing student potential, and becoming a recognized leader in career and technical education. And we do it through collaboration, ensuring our students are equipped for the workforce of tomorrow. This year alone, 1,118 students from 7 high schools and 4 homeschool districts have enrolled in 73 courses, totaling over 2,650 class enrollments. At Southwest Area CTE Academy, we don't just teach, we transform futures. Because when education creates opportunity, anything is possible. Discover your path, build your skills, secure your future, right here at Southwest Area CTE Academy.
stay right there in the slideshow. Good, thank you. Next, I would like to invite forward FFA student Bailey Binstock to tell us more about her organization and then to introduce the next student. I'm sorry, it'll go Bailey, Carter, Stephanie, then the mayor. Bailey Binstock, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bailey Binstock, and I'm proud to have served as Dickinson FFA president, the North Dakota State Skills USA president, and as a student at the Southwest Area Career and Technical Education Academy. It's an exciting time to be a high school or college student in Dickinson. Just 4 years ago, the State of the City event was held in Building B, which today is our high school diesel tech lab. Back then, Southwest CTE was only a vision. Today, we welcome you back here to visit that vision as a reality. In our very first year of operation, Skills USA has already become the largest career and technical education center in North Dakota. We now serve over 1,140 students from 7 different high schools across 2,650 course enrollments, including public, private, and homeschool students across 14 different programs. These programs are aligned with in-demand careers in our region, with the goal of keeping students like me right here in Southwest North Dakota. As I look ahead to my future, I can confidently say that Southwest CTE has helped me pursue my passion for education. I'll be continuing that journey next year as an elementary education major at Dickinson State University, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunities and inspiration I found here, especially through the education pathway. Many of my classmates and friends will go on to become mechanics, dentists, veterinarians, pharmacists, nurses, computer programmers, architects, contractors, chefs, teachers, and more. Many of them will credit their time in career and technical education as the reason they found their path. Southwest CTE is helping us build technical skills, but it's also helping us build relationships with local employers. A great example of this is work-based learning. In the DHS class of 2023, 7% of students completed a work-based learning experience, earning high school credit while gaining real-world experience in a business setting. I'm proud to share that for my class of 2025, that number has grown to 33%. This growth is thanks to the incredible opportunities Southwest CTE provides and the businesses and organizations across Southwest North Dakota that are investing in our future workforce. In talking with Mr. Anderson, we're already seeing signs of more growth next year, with additional schools, new programs, and hundreds of new enrollments. The momentum is real, and it's only just beginning. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank those of you and your organizations for investing in us and making the dream of Southwest CTE a reality. Your support is transforming students' lives across our region. Now, as I said before, I have been the Dickinson FFA's chapter president. Now being a senior, the time has come to hand the gavel over, but I will always wear my FFA jacket with pride. While many people know FFA as Future Farmers of America, it's really about so much more. It represents the future agriculture industry, allowing students to develop leadership, personal growth, and career readiness, regardless if they've had an agriculture background or not. I can personally say the impact FFA has had on my life has been incredible and taught me hard and soft skills that have prepared me for my future. Now, FFA is just one of the 5 career and technical student organizations offered at Southwest CTE. In a few moments, you will hear from representatives from the others, FBLA, TSA, Skills USA, and FCCLA. These organizations give students the chance to go beyond the classroom, build leadership skills, and prepare for successful futures. After today's program, if you'd like to see more of what's happening at Southwest CTE, students in official dress of these organizations will be near the overhead door to your right. They'd be happy to give you a tour and share the amazing opportunities we are proud to be a part of. Thank you again for being here, and enjoy the rest of today's program.
Thank you, Bailey. And we want to meet another student leader on this CTE campus. Please welcome TSA student Stephanie Talley. She'll tell us what those letters and that acronym stand for, and then she will introduce our mayor. Stephanie Talley.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Stephanie Talley, and I have been a state officer for TSA for the last 3 years. TSA is not just the airport security. I've heard all the jokes over it. TSA stands for Technology Student Association. It is a student-led CTSO organization that engages students in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics through its over 70 competitions for both middle school and high school students. And just as our motto states, students are learning to lead in a technical world. After 5 great years, I can gladly say I am extremely grateful for all the opportunities TSA has granted me. And I cannot wait to see the impact Southwest CTE Academy will have on our students and our future workforce. Scott Decker is a native of Dickinson, North Dakota, and has served 21 years in the United States Army and in the North Dakota Army National Guard. After active duty that included Operation Desert Storm, he returned home to continue his education at DSU and became the full-time recruiter for the North Dakota Army National Guard until his military retirement in 2010. He then went to work in the Bakken oil field as a right-of-way agent for Diamond Resources, then as a trainer for an oil field safety company. He was first elected to the Dickinson City Commission in 2014 and became its president in 2016. Please welcome Mayor Scott Decker.
I get handed the pointer with Plan B right away. So we'll see how that works. Well, thank you all for coming today. Can we get another round of applause for these amazing students? They're doing such a great job out here. I really like to thank the Chamber, Carter, his staff. Amazing work putting this all together. Dickinson Public Schools, the CTE Center, what an amazing job out here. You guys show up all the time and really perform and outdo yourselves. And it is an honor to be out here today with the state of the city. Before I get into some of the slides, I really want to thank the individuals that serve on boards. Our city commission, it's been an interesting year. Any of you that follow us, it's been an interesting year. And I really appreciate the city commissioners sticking it out and going through this with me. I really appreciate it. You know, John Oderman, what he went through with all of us, but we also look at him moving on, taking the opportunity, great opportunity for him. Appreciate all his hard work on the city commission. And I'd also like to recognize other members of other boards that are in this. The school board, any school board members here, just give us a wave. If there's any school board members here, park board members, I see a few park board members, you know, give a wave. And beyond that, the city staff and all the hard work that they put in. We're getting really good at elections. I don't think that's a skill we want to be good at, but we're getting good at special elections, and I really appreciate the staff and all their hard work and time they're putting in. And then I also appreciate all of the other community members that sit on boards that sometimes don't go and get recognized, like planning and zoning, and the airport board, and the library board, and there's a plethora of boards throughout the city. And those individuals give up their time and do a very important job for this city. So if anybody sits on any of those boards, P&Z, library, airport, any of, please give everybody a wave. I want, community members here to see who sits on it. So, but it is a very important role in our community. So we're going to jump right into it. What I want to cover, the state of the city this year, some topics, our quick financial update, where we're at, revenue comparison, debt summary, and our sales tax comparison, our 2024 success stories, the Legacy Square, Southwest Arts and Gallery, Dickinson Rec, Southwest Community Grants and Senior Grants, and then what our goals are this year, which will lead into next year as 2026, and our goals and opportunities with development of construction growth, housing, expansion of facilities, taking on the ambulance service, and of course, all important, getting to us a new terminal out at the airport. So we'll go into the financial update. And as you can see, we just broke it down a little bit. What we, to date, 2025 revenue year to date, and then a comparison, somewhat of a comparison to our 2024 revenues. As you can see, probably the big numbers to look at in 2024 is where a majority of the money comes to the city, and that is through sales tax and the oil impact money that the city receives to offset a lot of the impacts of the energy sector. Most of that money goes right back into roads, water, sewer, and additional staffing that we need to deal with some of the additional issues that may arise with a growing population. So as you can see, the city as a whole, our property tax is pretty low if you break it down and in comparative to what we use in the budget. And the sales tax, I'll touch on that in a little bit. That'll be an important topic. Our debt summary, as you see from 2017 to 2024, you'll see a little bit of a spike at the end there where we took on some more debt. A lot of that debt was because of water and sewer and road projects. We take out SRF loans, which are through the state of North Dakota, which some of them are forgivable once we put that infrastructure into the ground. A lot of the stuff that people don't see, it's not sexy stuff. It's not a big building. It's not a big park. It's not a rec center. But we sure hear about it when the sewer doesn't work or the road's busted up. So a lot of this money that we spend go into those projects, and some of this is forgivable through the state once we have that infrastructure in the ground. So you'll see the spike there at the end. And all important, last payment, Ben Ray's sitting in the back, park board members are sitting in the back, last payment on our rec center. So yes, it is that old. It's 20 years old. That is amazing how hard we fought years ago to get that in this community, and it is 20 years old. But with that challenge, we have a 20-year-old building, so the maintenance challenges will continue to put money into that facility. I just wanted city staff to throw this slide in our sales tax rate, and this is something I'm going to speak to later because of a new challenge the city has. And that new challenge is that we are only the second city in the state of North Dakota to be running an ambulance service. We take over the ambulance service July 1 of this year. Williston is the only other city that runs an ambulance service. All other ambulance services are private. So we will take on that endeavor, and I will come back to the sales tax rate. As you can see, Dickinson by far is one of the lowest sales tax by any surrounding community or across the state. Again, just a slight recap here. We opened up Legacy Square in 2023. We've had some very successful programming. I know we all clapped for Irene, and Irene was on that first slide. So enjoying the 2023. I think she's enjoyed a lot of 2024 too down there. As you can see, we had a very successful year in 2024, a lot of big concerts. This year, we are concentrating on having 4 big concerts and a lot of small events. And those 4 big concerts, as you can see, on the 4th of July, or actually the 3rd of July, we'll have Sawyer Brown. And then we'll bring in Chauncey Williams and Scotty McCreery, and The Hype as our 4 big concerts for the summer. Now, that's not to say that's the only 4 things that are going to be happening at Legacy Square this summer. I have a whole list of things that I've been handed here that Legacy Square events through May, all the way through August and September, that we will be holding different events, from the library events, public works events, Kind Heart events. The Dock Dogs will be back this year again. Ukrainian Festival will be down there. The Dickinson Dream Tournament has booked a weekend. Bravera, Kind sponsors, will have a big corporate event down there. Kind Hearts Day will be there in August. The North Dakota Police Association social will be held down there when they're in town. And Hawk Fest, August 29th, if I am correct. And Mr. Smith sitting back there. I don't know if he knows the date, but he's gave me the thumbs up. So Hawk Fest down there. And then we'll have some markets down there and some other events, and Out of the Darkness Walk to end the season. Wanted to touch a little bit on what the city contributes to the community. In 2024, we contributed $125,000 to the Southwest Art Gallery and Science Center, and we also contributed $1.3 million to Dickinson Rec Center upgrades. And along with, we give out grants to Southwest Community Grants, which those grants go out to the smaller cities that surround Dickinson, because we all know they shop here. So we take a portion of the sales tax and we give it back to these small communities in the form of grants, so that they can upgrade their fire safety equipment, their law enforcement equipment, and their parks, their swimming pools. And I think it's a great way to show our appreciation for those individuals that live in these smaller communities and come to our city and, basically shop local. So, and then we also give out money to the senior citizen centers throughout Southwest North Dakota. So another $60,000. I will move into our 2025 goals and opportunities. One of the biggest challenges that we had, and we're having a short conversation right before we kicked off this event, is what are the challenges for Dickinson? And across the state, you hear a lot. You hear, well, this is a 3-legged stool, and you got to have all 3 legs of that stool for it to operate correctly. I say in our area of the world, we have a supercharged car with a supercharged engine. We have the energy sector. We have our manufacturing. We have ag. We have our great education systems. We have our great healthcare, that supercharged engine. But if those 4 wheels, and I'll spell it out, those 4 wheels are not full. If we have a deflated wheel, that high power engine doesn't function. And those 4 wheels are housing, childcare, workforce, and behavioral health. And if any one of those 4 wheels are deflated, we don't function as a community. So we have to concentrate on keeping those 4 wheels full. And as a city commission, we're constantly looking at how can we help with the development and growth of housing. How can we help with recruiting people here that'll work in childcare, that'll work in behavioral health, and work in the healthcare industry. And those are our challenges as a commission, to balance that all out. And I'll tell you this, it is so easy sometimes to go down to Bismarck, and Representative Steiner sitting here in the front row, she knows, I'm gonna go down and fight for you guys, for every penny. You guys make it easy to keep this great city functioning and lead us into prosperity here. But we still have to work as a commission with this housing and bringing events to the city and expanding of like our museum and our library. Critical things that people don't understand how much these things get used. How many people go to our library? How many people in Southwest North Dakota use our library? Books aren't antiquated. A lot of people use that library. They use it for other services. They take their children to our museum so they can see what existed millions of years ago in Southwest North Dakota, but then they also have the heritage there of the smaller parts of the museum that show the heritage of the settlers in this area. Some of the non-sexy things you see up there, the Baylor building. People don't think of, well, that's important to the trash in the city. It's very important to the trash, to get the trash off the streets and get it processed through. And for our contractors that are working, the Baylor building expansion is very, very important. Our new fire and EMS station that we're going to be looking at. With us taking on the role as the ambulance service as you see it, taking on that role, that's an expansion of staff. That's an expansion of area that we need to house ambulances now. It's important that we look at providing those individuals that are going to work and are going to provide this ambulance service, provide this fire service with the proper infrastructure so they can get in and out and service the city. And then, of course, the airport. And the airport was a fight this year. Mr. Brown's here from the airport. It was a fight. But we're going to get this thing done, get this new terminal off and going. My hope was that it would be open for the presidential library, but I think we're probably going to be about a year behind the presidential library opening it. So fingers crossed going forward. Just have a couple of quick slides for you on what the museum expansion will look like, what the library expansion will look like, and then what the new Baylor building with the improvement to the scales. Our hope right now is right now we have one scale. So anybody here that's a contractor, anybody here that's out on a weekly basis hauling something out there, they know how backed up the scales can get. That expansion will allow for us to put in hopefully 3 scales, 2 going in, 1 coming out, to speed up the process for our contractors, for our industrial partners. And I wanted to touch, before I sign off, I wanted to touch back on the sales tax. We've had lengthy discussions as a commission. And as a community, I think we need to address how we're going to help with this ambulance service. This does not come as a free cost to this community. And this is an endeavor that we've researched in depth. And we know that we're going to need some additional funding. We're not going to get reimbursed 100% for our services. That's just not how medical services work. Anybody that works in the medical field, they know insurance is not going to reimburse you 100% for your costs. This is going to be a challenge. And I just want to go out on this on a couple of notes. We're probably going to have to look at trying to get a sales tax passed to help with this. And I know the members of this community will get behind that to help out the city so that we can keep our property tax where they are within the limits of what the legislature has said now with the 3% cap. That's something I think we really need to address as a community. And the second thing that I want to go out on I don't know if it's a sad note or a happy note, but I've noticed a lot of people moving on in the community. I know the university, they got a celebration today for some people retiring. A lot of people retiring. There's a lot of people hanging it up, and they're moving on. They're moving on to that next chapter. But we also have some very inspired young people that are looking to get into and lead this community. And I would just encourage them to keep doing that. Step up to the plate. You'll see, with this special election right now, you're seeing, I think there's 4 announced people that have announced. There might be a few more, but I'm so happy to see that there's interest in serving on the community, serving on the commission with everything that's going on, right? They know how important this community is. They want to step up and take on those leadership roles. And to those people stepping away after years of service to this community, thank you so much. You probably see me at a lot of events, and you don't see the little short blonde with me. My wife. She doesn't like this. She doesn't like, she doesn't understand how I want to put up with this, right? But I do appreciate her support. And she retired yesterday. 29 years at the pharmacy. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. And with that,
Leave it right there.
we'll leave her right there, Carter said. So I appreciate everything you guys do. You really do. This is such a wonderful community. So thank you.
Our guest speaker today, who will come next, was told he'd be on at 12:40. We are darn close, in part because the president of the city commission spoke within reasonable time limits. Thank you for that. We do need to hear from one additional student first. Let's see here. Please welcome Madison Hayden, who will tell us a little more about FCCLA, and then she will introduce our guest speaker.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Madison Hayden. I'm a sophomore at Dickinson High School, and I'm extremely excited to talk to you today about an organization that has truly changed my life. FCCLA stands for the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. FCCLA is a national student-led organization that focuses on personal growth, leadership development, and career preparation through family and consumer science education. But to me, it is much more than a club. It is a second home. When I first joined FCCLA, I was looking for a way to get involved, maybe build my resume or try something new. But what I didn't expect to find was a family. Through chapter meetings, star event projects, and many conferences, I met people who welcomed me, supported me, and most of all, inspired me to be my best self. We have learned how to lead, how to serve our community, and how to support each other, not just as members, but as true friends. In our chapter, we have participated in local daycare nights, rummage sales, blanket making for homeless people, cleaning up parks, and most recently, throwing a fashion show. The community outreach programs we have participated in the past 2 years have not only helped our local community, but have also taught me and fellow members what it really means to help other people. In FCCLA, I found much more than just leadership opportunities. I found people who believed in me, and friendships that I know will last far beyond high school. It's a place where you're encouraged to lead with heart and where every voice matters. Now, let me introduce to you our next guest speaker. Nathan Anderson is a native of Minot, North Dakota, and received a BS in geology from North Dakota State University. Nathan has over 25 years of engineering, land, environmental, health, safety asset, and leading and serving in varying roles of increasing responsibility. Most recently as Senior Asset Director overseeing the company's West Texas assets prior to the acquisition of Chevron. Nathan has worked on industry projects and assets throughout the United States and joined the team of Department of Mineral Resources in September of 2024. He has filled big shoes as his predecessor, Lynn Helms, had served 30 years in the role of Director of the Department of Mineral Resources. Please welcome Nathan Anderson.
All right, good afternoon. Never really seen myself as a guest speaker, so that's probably why I'm struggling with the mic here. Other way?
There you go. Next one.
All right, thanks for having us here today. I appreciate the opportunity to come here and speak. I was pleasantly surprised of the big crowd here. It's fantastic to be here in front of everybody. It's exciting to see the pride in Dickinson. Surrounding areas, local businesses, education, industry. Great to visit with some of the students here. I'll put a cheap plug in that the DMR, Department of Mineral Resources, typically has anywhere from 4 to 10 different jobs available and posted at any time on the website. I'll present that right at the end. I need to introduce two people that are integral in what I do, and they're here. They joined me today, and that's Kayla Lemieux, our executive coordinator, and Marina Gosser, our public information officer. They keep the schedule straight. They help prepare the presentations, and just are a great help to me. So, thank you. I also need to give the team credit. I have a 108-person team that works hard every day for the state of North Dakota, and they're in Grand Forks, Bismarck, Minot, Williston, and Dickinson. In Bismarck, both at our DMR offices and the Heritage Center. So a great big shout out to the team there. When I was here in January, I spoke to the Dickinson API. Can everybody hear me okay? I don't feel like all right. I spoke to the Dickinson API, and I believe I mentioned that I was in church the prior Sunday, and my pastor jumped up on the stage and was so excited for the cold weather. I think it was -20 or something like that, and I was like, "What in the world?" And he goes, "I'm just so excited because we don't have to worry about mosquitoes for the next several months." And I thought that's fantastic. On the way here, I'm like, "Well, we've been blessed with the rains, and we're going to have to worry about mosquitoes here pretty soon." But the state desperately needed the moisture, and we're getting it. All right, this is our Dickinson field staff. Recently, we had these employees all live and reside in and around Dickinson, led by Nicole Evanek, right in the middle. 2 weeks ago, the leadership team at the DMR had the opportunity took the opportunity to go out into each of the field offices for a day and ride around with inspectors and really learn and listen to the challenges that they are dealing with. I believe it was Thursday, the last day we spent the day in Dickinson, and you can see the breakout of the team here. We have 5 field inspectors, 2 technicians, 2 pipeline technicians, an engineering tech. Our seismic field inspector for the whole state resides here in Dickinson, and he travels throughout the state on any seismic projects throughout the state. And then again, Nicole leads the team here. We worked in the office. We ran through kind of exercises and listening and kind of giving updates on the legislative session. We went out and visited pipeline projects. The picture in the lower right is interesting to me, and I'll speak a little bit to that later. But that's right on the top of that bluff in the TR unit is a pump jack, so an oil well, and then right at the base of that bluff are coal seams. And those coal seams are what's being discussed as the base of the coal seams typically the critical minerals throughout the state. So it's truly an energy-rich area, and something that Dickinson really has, and the community has going for it. Moving on to, let me see here, where am I at? Okay, I'm on, this is a quick look at North Dakota production. This is from last month's Director's Cut, which we put out monthly, and this current month, it will be this Friday, so we're going to have some updated numbers. We expect those numbers for March, so for May's Director's Cut, we're going to present March production. Last month we presented February's production, and February was extremely cold, and so those numbers dipped, and you can see, December, January, February, the trend in the graph there on the left was down. February had 1.16 million barrels per day in the state of North Dakota. January was just slightly higher than that. The revenue forecast that's budgeted against for the remainder of the year or until July 1 was 1.1 million barrels a day. So the state continues to produce a little bit more than the revenue forecast, but month over month, January to February, we're down just a little bit. This is an important item in the state. 98% of our production comes from the Bakken Three Forks, leaving 2% of all the remaining production. You can see the number there, roughly 28,000 barrels, coming from conventional formations that had been drilled, completed, and produced prior to the shale revolution. Gas production in the state, again, down. Gas usually takes a big hit. February we had some, negative 25 to negative 30, 38 below, something like that. I think that's what I saw in Bismarck. So that took a hit. We do expect that to rebound, and we'll be releasing those numbers here on Friday. This is got my slides out of order here. This is North Dakota County production. I guess the only thing to point out here, the blue bars are oil production by county for the month. The black line there is the percentage of the state's total production, and roughly 30% of North Dakota production comes from just north of here in McKenzie County. And the top 5 counties make up approximately 96% of the production in North Dakota. Dickinson being the energy hub, most certainly its proximity to the counties just to the north, and obviously there's activity all around here. Down to the southwest, most certainly benefits from the oil and gas industry in the state. This is a rig count over time for states that I follow. I think it's important for the DMR to track rig counts across the U.S. closely to best understand where capital investment is occurring and understand what the competition is for that capital. The count in the United States, I think today is roughly 578. Roughly 50% of the rigs in the United States are in the Permian Basin. So I believe the Permian Basin is the number 2 producing basin in the entire world, right behind the one in Saudi Arabia. So it's obviously a critical component to U.S. energy. North Dakota has 32 rigs running. I think that number is at 30. Or 31 today, actually. I do expect a slight rig count drop in the state over the coming months. There's just a little bit of lower price environment and volatility in price environment, and we're starting to see that. Talking to companies, some of which are in the room, that I see the signs up that we've spoken to have plans to just kind of dial back capital investment just a little bit. And it's not, I don't think it's really specific to North Dakota. I think it's the industry in general right now, waiting for some of the items that are occurring, to get some of the headwinds to blow over, as we transition into the Trump administration. I also, state has, actually I'll cover that here in just a minute, the frac crew count. This is a new slide that we've kind of published recently, and what it really shows is completed lateral footage over time. So most wells over the past decade have been 2-mile laterals. We're seeing a significant increase in 3-mile laterals and even 4-mile laterals as operators are driving capital efficiency due to the market demands that are on them. In 2024, you'll see that there was roughly 10,647,000 total feet completed. If you take the blue number divided by the number of completions, we kind of estimate the average lateral length completed by year to get an idea of the amount of lateral length being produced or increased per year. And you can see that, from 2020, roughly 500 feet per year, 400 or 500 feet per year, the laterals are increasing. So again, the standard lateral length has been 2-mile laterals for decades. Now we're seeing very commonly 3, most recently 4-mile laterals. We have 42 permits in the state that are 4-mile laterals, and we'll see how production looks. But the indication from operators is that there's a production contribution along the entire length of those laterals, which is a very positive thing. I would say, really, what does it tell us? Reduced rigs. I came into my position 8 months ago, and everybody's like, we've got to stay at 35 rigs, and we've got to have 15 frac crews. But everything was being based on 2-mile laterals being drilled. And so what we've really tried to do is understand, is production steady at a 30 rig count and a 12 frac crew count? And we're still trying to understand that, but really a slightly lower rig count and a slightly lower frac crew count really, to me, speaks to higher capital efficiencies that the operators are seeing in the technologies and innovation that they're continuing to drive. And so it doesn't necessarily equal lower production. So I think I actually know the March number, and it's increased, even though we have a slight dip in rig count now. I would say if we lose 5 or 6, 7 rigs in the state and the same amount of frac crews, that we would most certainly see a dip in production later in the year. But really, I think it's driving capital efficiency in the state, which I think is positive. This slide here speaks to pricing and activity levels. Again, this is from last month's director's cut. It's slightly dated, so you just wait a minute, update your apps on your phone that you keep track of, and it's updated. Today's current oil price, last I checked, was $61.50. Again, a little bit low for where I would like to see oil prices in North Dakota. I think oil or break-even prices in North Dakota, in that $55 to $60 range, depending upon where you're at. There's many factors that contribute to operators' decisions to pick up rigs or lay down rigs. Most certainly, commodity prices is a big one, but it's not the only one. The revenue forecast for the year was $70 oil, so we are low to that again, but we were high on volumes. So generally speaking, tax revenue for the state of North Dakota, and thus affecting all the communities throughout the state, including Dickinson, which the mayor spoke to, is pretty steady for this current biennium. Next biennium, we budgeted slightly lower oil prices and slightly lower volumes, and I think that was a smart decision. It was done about halfway through the legislative session and created a little bit of challenges for everybody that has to work through that budgeting process. But I think it was the right decision for the state to kind of plan on slightly lower pricing and volumes for the next biennium. Again, rig count and frac crew count are there. Like I mentioned, I do expect that to drop. I think today we're at 31 rigs, and we're hearing of a couple more rigs that will drop. I don't want to be kind of the negative. I just think it's the kind of the state that the industry is in right now. We've all worked through some of these minor corrections in the past, and I don't see that this should be a major one. And the main reason is because I'm not seeing pricing terribly tied to fundamentals right now. Supply and demand still indicate 103, 104 million barrels utilized throughout the world every day. The United States produces 13.5 million of those barrels. So I really think there's been sanctions that have been put on certain countries, Iran and Venezuela specifically. Iran, I think, produced about 2 million barrels a day, Venezuela about 500,000, something like that. OPEC recently came around and announced a production increase or an output in a low price environment. Well, I got a slide later that'll show you OPEC pricing or pricing relative to the output that those major countries, United States, Russia, and Saudi Arabia are doing. And Saudi Arabia is really taking back some of the give that they gave in 22 and 23. So I'll touch on that here in just a little bit. Actually, right here. So this is a chart showing U.S., Russia, and Saudi Arabia oil production. This the source of this is the EIA website. Saudi is the teal line, the United States is the green, and Russia is yellow. Oil prices there in the blue and red line. If you look back to 1993 through about 2002, Saudi Arabia was the leader in oil production in the world. The United States was second, third, right there with Russia. Russia took off right there in early 2000. The United States kind of remained steady, slightly dipping until shale drilling, which occurred, which is in right there 2011. It started a little bit earlier. But it really, the technology for hydraulically fracturing shale wells really didn't take off until 2011, 12 timeframe. And that's when the green line, the United States production, really took off. And then in 2018-19 timeframe, the U.S. became the world's energy leader, and that is a direct reflection to the resiliency and the efficiency of the shale revolution across North Dakota and all the other major shale plays in the United States. But specifically North Dakota. By the way, North Dakota is the number 3 oil producing state in the nation behind Texas, New Mexico, and us. So, and then I think 4th is Colorado, like 700,000 barrels behind us. So we're solidly in 3rd place. It's a great place to be. And then if you look at the green line there, right around 2020, that's North Dakota's production. Every country faced the same challenge, which was COVID demand destruction. And then again, the teal line, if you look at the teal line around 22, 23, Saudi gave up a bunch of their market share in order to help prop pricing up. So the idea that Saudi comes out here about a month ago and increases production beyond what they had originally stated isn't that surprising, because they're in a position where they can plug 700 barrel a day wells. And we don't do that. We produce those for 10, 20, 30 years. But they're simply just taking back some of the market share, and I do believe it was partially planned by the administration with the sanctions on Iran and Venezuela, and that what country could increase their output quick enough, and it was them. Another slide on pricing here. These are from CNBC. Industry leaders are dealing with uncertainty right now, and so when I sit and think of why would companies drop rigs at $60 oil? Well, most certainly it's not just that. It's that oil price goes from $54 one day to $64 the next day, and it's highly volatile. We have tariffs going on. We have a recession. We have 2 wars, either of which I think are going to be over anytime soon. And then you have Saudi Arabia and OPEC, and there's just a lot of moving parts right now, and I think it's leading to the volatility that we're seeing in pricing, which creates uncertainty in industry leaders, CEOs, C-suite type people that are making the decisions to invest capital into the market. I think China will maintain its imports even at lower oil prices. I think they look at that as an ideal opportunity to, if not increase their imports, continue to stockpile oil. Doing a little research recently, I noticed a prominent Permian operator has reduced their capital spend for the remainder of the year by 10%. And so that's just an indication that there's a little bit of a correction that's looming in front of us, and I think it's coming to North Dakota here somewhat soon. Again, I don't want to be the negative. I think the state budgeted accordingly and very smartly with this, but I do think there's going to be a little bit of a correction. And then I guess the big question is there in the bold letters at the bottom, and it's, is North Dakota rig activity resilient in that $55 to $60 oil price range? And I would just say that, based on many studies that I've seen on break-even oil pricing, North Dakota is typically in that $55 to $60 range, but things like longer laterals help that, lower cost of projects helps that, higher reserves help all of those, and more reasonable operating costs. So I'm certain that all operators are in the same place right now, looking for all of those in order to keep their programs going. This slide I won't cover in great detail, but it's a economic impact study. Just 2 slides out of the economic impact study that was conducted by NDSU Western Dakota Energy Association, and the North Dakota Petroleum Council. The numbers on the right are the cumulative impact from where the oil production comes from, revenue comes from. That's the oil barrels that are on the graph. If you haven't taken a look at this, either one of those NDPC or the Western Dakota Energy Association have these on their website, and they're pretty informative. But take a look at that. You'll notice Stark County. where does the distribution go? Most certainly Dickinson and Stark County are hub cities, and receiving a great portion of, and this is cumulative over time. So I think the governor or the mayor spoke on just 24 and 25 numbers, 2025 to date. So this is cumulative over time. The following slide is the distribution by type. Mayor spoke to this: water, education, property tax. Stark County specifically, in the lower right-hand corner, total $776 million from 2008 through 2024. A little bit on investment. It's interesting to me to watch over the course of, in the 1970s, 15% of the market, of the S&P market was investing in energy. And today, based on this particular study that I found, the S&P Dow Jones indices, as of January 31st, 2025, shows that roughly 3.1% is of the market is invested in energy. And it's an interesting concept that the public investment in energy has continued to drop. And I offer everybody the opportunity to ponder on why that is. I won't give my personal opinions on that right now, but yet production has continued to grow tremendously in the United States. So when I look at that, the message that I see is demand is not going away for oil and gas in the United States or in the world, in spite of much of what we may have heard in some of the mainstream media. The resource demand is increasing, and it's going to increase. It's expected to increase across the world. And if I was a betting person, the best place to be is right in the oil-producing basins in the United States, and there's just not that many of them. And West Texas is most certainly one. Powder River Basin, Williston Basin, the Eagle Ford's got some down South Texas. But some of the rest of them are very gassy. Northeast United States is almost an entire gas play. But I watch this closely. One thing that's occurring in North Dakota are lots of mergers and acquisitions. And just kind of watching, it's super majors that are now coming into the state of North Dakota. You have, Chevron is working on the Hess deal right now. Exxon is here. ConocoPhillips is here. These companies have very diversified portfolios, so the investment capital is competing with worldwide projects. So I think it's important to just be mindful of that and watch that over time. It's definitely a shift from a state that had probably 30 very, very active operators in the past to maybe 10 or so going forward. There's more operators than that, but the ones that are most active with the highest rig counts. So, then a little bit on legislation. I just finished my first legislative session. I learned a lot. I'd never did that before, so it was great to learn. Some of the bills that were pretty important to us that we testified are Senate Bill 2285. This has a pretty large impact to the ranching community, primarily to the west of here, and that's. I'm sorry. There was another bill that's judicial deference that was defeated. The ranching bill, the orphaned wells in southwest North Dakota are able to be transferred over to water wells for livestock, and we testified in favor of that, and that was a bill that passed. So I think it's a good use of resources that are essentially at the end of their life now, being able to be utilized for the ranching in western North Dakota. 2285, like I mentioned, was a judicial deference bill that was defeated. Senate Bill 4020, or I guess that's SCR, right? 4026 was a bill that was would create a state-owned oil association or owned oil and gas company similar to the mill and elevator in the Bank of North Dakota. House Bill 1459 is the Critical Minerals Bill. It's the first bill related to critical minerals in the state's history. And the importance to that for the DMR is that this bill passed after several iterations, but it really puts the rulemaking and the regulation of the processing facilities in the hands of the Department of Mineral Resources, the Industrial Commission. And so that's an important one. There's a few items there that kind of set the minimum royalty rate. I guess speaking to this one just a little bit more, there's only really one other place in the United States, and that's in Mountain Pass, California, that produces critical minerals or rare earth elements, and that's in California. North Dakota has, based on test holes that the legislature has approved money for the geological survey that's part of the DMR, has recognized that North Dakota has some of the heavier end rare earth elements which have the higher value. And so it's something that North Dakota actually has. Some are, many are associated with the base of the coal seams, and that's what this particular bill did, was address kind of the coal seams and the base of the coal seams. And others are not. There's critical minerals in the gravel out in the parking lot or the city streets that we're driving on every day. But this bill attempts to establish a framework for rulemaking and regulation for the state for the first time. House Bill 1483. Earlier I spoke to the Bakken is 98% of the North Dakota oil production. This bill is a tax incentive to assist in non-Bakken exploration, and so the first 300,000 barrels or the first 36 months of production are eligible for a 3% tax reduction during that. And that's the hope there, is that we have companies that go out and explore. So some of the companies that are in this room, feel free to let your geoscientists and engineers know that that there's a little bit of incentive out there, that the state's looking for a look into other formations that might have. Actually, there's 18 formations that have produced oil and gas in the state of North Dakota, and we produce 98% of them out of one particular formation. So Senate Bill 2397 is was another tax incentive, and that really promotes new technology and innovation in all formations, including the Bakken and Three Forks. And it's for the first 250,000 barrels or 36 months, and that's a full 5% tax, extraction tax incentive. It does include a sunset, so I think it's about a 3-year sunset, so if companies are not utilizing this particular bill, it likely won't stay in play. And then the big one that I forgot was our budget bill, Senate Bill 2014. It consisted of a few employees. We worked hard on inflation, costs of our goods and services to run the Department of Mineral Resources continues to increase, fuel, vehicle costs, everything, computers, employee compensation, just everything. So we addressed that. The critical minerals drilling got another several $100,000, I can't remember the exact number, to continue the critical mineral drilling project, to kind of define or delineate that throughout the state. And just what we walked away from the legislative session is that the DMR will be able to continue to provide the services that the state's expected over the past several decades. So I think that was my last one. There is the email that I'd like everybody that wants to apply for our jobs. You can find them on our contact information there. I don't know if we're doing any Q&A, not today. If you have questions, feel free to drop them on the email right there, and we'll do our best to get back to you soon, in a timely fashion. But thanks for having me. It's great to be out here. I think it's just great to see the pride, the students, great facility. And a great community out here in Dickinson, and really an energy hub for the entire Williston Basin. So thank you all.
Thank you, Nathan, for great information, for accepting our invitation to speak today. At this time, I'm inviting Esme of the Chamber to come forward to very briefly preview our upcoming spring and summer events, and then we will close it out.
All right, hello everyone. It's been great to meet you all today. I am just going to introduce or talk about some of our events that we have coming up. So on Tuesday the 20th, we have our business after hours at Out of Town from 4 to 6 p.m. And then on Thursday the 22nd, we are doing our Lunch and Learn at Stark County Veterans Pavilion, and that'll be from 11:30 to 1:30. And then some following events that we have is our annual golf scramble. We have our banquet in a field and brand stand and corporate cup, all landing in the second half of the summer. So be sure to check out our Tuesday e-news to keep up on that and have some more details. I'm going to send it back to Carter for closing. Thank you.
The way we operate at the Chamber is evolving a little bit. I think, when Alicia Erickson departed the Chamber to become the new director at the CVB, she's doing a great job there. The unspoken message from the Chamber, to use a sports analogy, was probably that the Chamber staff is lean. Carter plays point guard. The ball runs through, or the offense runs through him. Everything goes through him. We need to get better than that. We have playmakers now, and they're coachable. So in the future, moving forward, you'll work with them. I'll coach them up. I think that's a great model. And on that note, we want to make sure that if you want a tour of the CTE campus, those great students there in their student organizational jackets are ready to give tours today. Once more, I'd like to thank the many who made today's event possible. That concludes this year's program, and we will see you next time.